Right, we're here at Phoenix Square and we're waiting for Lawrence Clark with his Spastic Fantastic to start. And I'm catching up with Rob. How you doing, Rob? Okay?
I'm alright, yeah.
Cool. Now, you're actually one of the 4 judges that we're catching up with and following during the comedy festival. So how's it going so far?
Well, pretty well. I'm in a week in. I've had a day off work to recover today. Because one of the best things is after the shows you'll catch up and talk and compare. Like have an official judges meeting. So last night was a late one of those. But yeah, I'm enjoying it still enjoying it.
So how many shows do you get to see over the 17 days?
This time I've got 35, I think. I'm scheduled to see, and I've seen about another 4 or 5 extra of my own so far. So I imagine it'll be getting on for 45 or 50 shows by the end of it.
Yeah, cool. And what sort of things do you look out for? I mean, you personally, I know when we interviewed Kate the other week, she was just saying, like, anything that's kind of like original, and it must be quite difficult when everyone's laughing around you and you're not laughing to not be judgmental as a judge. You've got to kind of judge it on the action of the audience.
Well, quite. I went to a show the other night and it wasn't really my bag, but you've got to be really careful that you don't spread that little that vibe of you not enjoying it. So you kind of have to join in a bit.
Chuckle along.
Yeah. Well, quite. But what I look for, I don't really know, because I've broadened my horizon so much from judging this year and last year that things I would have never considered going to see. Like dance-based shows and jazz-based shows and theatre-based shows, they're all fair game for me now. So I'll go and see pretty much anything. So,
I mean, do you think that's the key for being a judge? You're kind of willing to put yourself in a situation where you'd see a lot more things you wouldn't, and it kind of helps you at the same time you're gaining something by being one of the panellists as well.
Well, quite. I mean, it has broadened my mind in terms of what I like. I mean, I still like a box standard stand-up if I can see one that's excellent. But some of my favourite shows of the last year have been things that I would never have considered liking. So, yeah, you do. It does help if you're if you're broad-minded. I've got the things I don't like, and you have to be really careful not to let those cloud you as well, because it's not ultimately your taste as such, but you have to apply some criteria. And you have to listen to the other judges as well, which is, sometimes isn't
listen
that
to
easy.
Andy Selkeld with his opinion.
I don't know why I choose to do it in so many arenas of my life, but clearly I do.
Cycling related and a comedy festival.
Yeah, and as a mate as well. I must be stupid, and so must he, but anyway.
What do you think qualifies you to be a judge? It must be, I enjoy asking that question because it really makes people think, well, you're putting yourself up to judge others. I don't have a lot of time for critics at the best of the time. I'd rather decide what I go and see. But, if you were going to, say to people, well, actually, I thought this was quite good or deserving of this kind of award, what do you think qualifies you?
What qualifies me? The first year the judging panel was advertised for, I didn't even go for it because I didn't think I knew enough or had enough experience to go into comedy, but I sort of had a think, and I thought, well, I do go to a lot of shows, and I have done for quite a while, and it's just the fact that I go to a lot of shows. I don't think I know more than anybody else or anything else. I think I've been prepared to argue my case, and Jeff said originally we wanted opinionated and passionate, and I guess I can do those two things.
Yeah.
Whether I'm the world's greatest expert on comedy or not, I think that's kind of moot, because we have to. It does come into a bun fight, and you do have to argue your case. And if somebody's impassioned about something, then that's your key. If it really lights someone up and can bring them to life, then you know that show's done its job. So I guess I can do that on behalf of an act I like. And I can do it against an act I'm not so keen on. So just opinionated and passionate is what you wanted. Whether that's always directed in the right way, the other judges will tell you. And if you see me with a black eye at the end of the thing,
you've had a vehement disagreement.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, I think another question I like to ask people is things like venues. You know how some people like to see bands in big arenas like Wembley Stadium and the O2 and stuff, and then other people like bands that are sort of there's like 50 people in the gig and it's kind of really quite quiet. I mean, from your point of view, how do you like your comedy? Is it kind of De Montfort Hall curve, or is it things like the Crumbling Cookie and sort of the basement at the Belmont Hotel?
Well, I do like a small room, and I'm one of these idiots who likes to sit at the front because I think you're kind of immersed in it then. But some of the acts I will only get to see at bigger venues. I'm playing to see a comedian in a few months' time down in London that would never come to a small venue. He's of that size. Curve you mentioned, that's playing in the smaller room this year, and I really love that room because it's like, to me, like the Phoenix was. I mean, it's a slightly different shape, but it's got a really similar vibe to it, and I'm just really pleased. I've never been to a show in there before, so I'm quite excited by the fact that there's a 300-seat venue with the black room that doesn't sort of impose on the show, and you're really close to the acts. There's not even a stage, so your feet are right next to their act. So I like a medium-sized gig, I think, and also I like to be, right in the heart of it. Big venues, not so much, but sometimes if the comedian warrants that, then that's what you have to put up with. Or you know, unless you're prepared to see a preview show. But I like small gigs, I think, really, small to medium.
Now, one of the challenges for people like Jeff and the team, you know, the big difference and stuff, you know, we're in the 18th year of the festival now, you know, Europe's biggest one, you know, Leicester Comedy Festival, everyone knows it. It's had some fantastic write-ups this year in the national press and stuff like that. It is getting people that are not sort of comedy goers, if you like, in every day of the year, the Wharton Go, to come along and try out things. I mean, what more do you think needs to be done, or you know, these guys could do, or how do you attract someone who thinks, oh, you know, I'd like to go, but I'm not quite sure, type thing? You know, have you got an opinion on that?
I mean, I tell friends of mine who aren't necessarily comedy goers to go to shows that I think kind of edge onto the sort of things they're interested in. There's a dance act called New Art Club. And my colleague's a ballet dancer and a tap dancer, and I knew that she loved that, even though she doesn't go to a lot of comedy. She really enjoyed that, and people have like puppet shows and things that sort of try and catch them with something that skirts around what they like, and hope that they enjoy the comedy and go to some more. But it is hard to, you know, you can only tell somebody so much, can't you? I've been driving some friends mad about a show that I really love. And I think actually the next time I mention it, I think one of them is going to strangle me. But it's hard.
They might give you the black eye.
Yeah, somebody's going to hit me by the end of this festival, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But getting people to shows, I suppose you can use social networking things like this these days. I mean, it's much easier to promote these days than it was in the past. You know, you can put clips up online really quickly and easily. So, yeah, I mean, the new technologies are definitely there for people to use.
Okay, right, last question, because I know you've got to go off to the Criterion for a gig tonight, and I'm about to see Lawrence Clark.
Okay.
Things like, you know, when you get your list of acts and all that kind of stuff, do you go in cold, or do you do your research on things like YouTube, or, you know, if they've got like DVDs, all that kind of stuff?
I do a bit of research, but not too much, because I like to think that I'm going to judge a show on you know, on what it is. But there's some people that I've heard names, I've heard a buzz about, so I look for those. But on the whole, I'd say I don't. I just go in.
You go in cold, yeah.
Yeah, even big names, like I've seen Neil Ennis and I've seen Lenny Henry this time. And I didn't want to find out too much about what their shows are like. Even though I've got preconceptions about those from growing up with them.
Yeah.
I just thought, right, I'll see what this is going to be like. I don't want to be coloured by another review or some video footage. It's often a little bit cold. So yeah, I like to take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, enjoy the rest of the show, mate, and the rest of the festival, and I'll catch up with you probably next week.
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
Cheers,
care.
mate.
Cheers, John.